Cargo pants and classic menswear don't go together. At least that's what I thought a few years back. But never say never, because the day I came across Japanese dudes rocking them like this on Instagram was the day I went down the vintage military rabbit hole. And after hours and hours and hours of watching Japanese YouTubers obsessing over the details with subtitles that don't make sense and tracking the pants in my size, may I present to you my humble collection. So here's how I style them. If, like me, your wardrobe is mostly filled with classic menswear pieces, then you want your cargo pants to have a high rise and a fuller cut, just like your tailored trousers. The TLDR is that a high rise brings you closer to the rule of thirds and visually elongates your leg line. Bonus points if they've got pleats, like these combat trousers from the British Royal Navy, released in 2015 as part of the Royal Navy personal clothing system. Other details include slanted pockets, which make it easier to access your items when sitting down, a hidden zip pocket, a gusseted crotch for comfort and durability, Canadian style buttons, and elastic side tabs. I'd say the easiest way to wear this is with an oversized tee tucked in to emphasize that high rise, and with chunky sneakers like these Kahu Fusion 2.0s. If you're going the more sartorial and subtle route, you can iron down the pleats for a cleaner leg line and go monochromatic with a long sleeve navy polo, along with contrasting sneakers to bring attention away from the pants. Speaking of sartorial, can't forget about over-the-cuff socks. But yeah, I'm a cheapskate, so I only use these Singapore Army issued pairs. I always buy like 5 pairs during every reservist cycle, so I've got a whole stash at this point. Anyway, a light blue bomber and even the slanted pockets of the jungle fatigue complement the pants. But if navy is where you're at in terms of color and the military branch, then consider a navy blazer. Probably don't try this unless you're a Japanese influencer. Next up, these lightweight fatigue trousers from the British Army. They look like a standard OG 107 fatigue pants, but details like side adjusters and the button belt loops set them apart. Earlier versions from the 70s to the early 90s had a cargo pocket but was later removed in the late 90s. So consider the latter if you're still not sold on cargo pants. These pants still run pretty cheap in the surplus market, so get them before prices start climbing in a few years. The drippy cotton twill and gently tapered cut wears more like an elegant pair of dress pants, which is a good thing in my book because it makes it much easier to dress them up, like with a striped OCBD and derbies, and occasionally a crop jacket when the weather gets chilly. You can even dress them down with something as simple as a white t-shirt and sandals, and also layer an overshirt if that's your thing. Next, the M47 Cargo Pants, worn by French troops during the Indochina and Algerian War. Reinterpreted in 1998 by Martin Margiela, and perhaps one of the most sought after cargo pants ever. It's practically impossible to find one in my size, so I bought a repro version. They feature a super high rise, bellow pockets, knee patches, and a white silhouette. Like the original M47, these repro pants had button tabs at the hem, but I'll never use them, so I shifted them to the waist. I also slightly cropped them to better go with boots and high tops, but slimmer kicks like sambas work well too. The pants have an olive brownish color, so I like color blocking them with more vibrant light blue tops. Other times I go for a less contrasty and a more workwear inspired look, which means a grey tee and a grey denim jacket. And if you've made it this far, you might as well watch this video. Until next time, stay subtle.